Hello, so this is my project for jets, and I am just going to give you an explanation of what I did, so then hopefully it makes you guys' lives easy for grading. And for those who are looking at this for what I did in the process, I kind of just went step by step on the instructions of what I did based on, I didn't do the stretches because I have other things to do. I would have loved to, but do not hate. All right, so I pretty much went through the UML first and kind of looked at everything that I needed to do to build the skeleton of or the structure of what we needed to do. And so we'll go ahead here. And yes, this is a Windows. Sorry. All right, so I went ahead and built all the interfaces, and I went ahead and built the classes. And then here's the Jet application, and then I pretty much just did everything I needed for the cargo jet specialties. That's what I named my interface, and then also the fighting jet specialties because that's what. But all these other ones I included there just in case if we wanted to use them. Um, but I didn't have to call them. So then over here, because I was only meeting the criteria of what I needed to do. The way I structured my text, it was pretty much I placed the type of cargo or type of jet, so then I could easily just find it and then place it based it into make an object based on that. And then here is the pretty much the description or the model, the speed, the speed, the range, and the price. And I pretty much did it with all of these. And then over here on the jet application, um, so here I kind of minimize it, but here's where I read the file. Here's where I created the scanner and then I created the airfield, which was the class I created here. But yes, so I just wanted to show you how I'm running the program, and then I could do a step by step of the classes. So let me run the program if it runs. There we go. All right. So it goes to the following menu. So to test it to see if it's going to be anything else, I could go here, and it's not going to allow me to do it. It's going to go ahead and say, hey, please choose from the following menu because they have the option of quitting. I could probably put a display error or put something like, hey, sorry, you put an invalid entry, which I probably will do. So let's put in a number that's out of or no, it's not gonna allow me. So let's go ahead and list the fleet that it already read from the file. So it's gonna go ahead and go based on the cargo jets, the fighter jets, and the vanilla jets. And this is the way I was able to use this was based on the criteria. I was able to separate them by the type of classes, and then I grabbed the jets. I think get class, get simple class name, and then I use that here, and I'll show how I did that in the airfield, or I think the jets. All right, so here it shows. So then I want to fly all jets. I don't know the how to calculate the Mach speed, and I'm going to be correcting that later on. So I asked this Slack channel, so hopefully I get some feedback there. But for now, I pretty much went through every one of these. I put, I believe, 11 jets in there, and it would run at a fuel of I don't know. I don't know yet, but here's all the information. The 541 miles per hour at a range of blah blah blah, etc. etc. And so it pretty much chooses or goes there, and then it takes you back to the following menu. So on the fastest jet, we'll say here, the fastest jet is the following, the model Douglas F-15, and let's verify that. So we're looking at all the models here. So the speed would probably be the fighter jets, and it'll be 1875. I don't see anything higher than that. And then you could go here and verify 1875. And so the longest range, let's put that one here. The longest range is the Boeing 747-8. And, oh, sorry, had to blow my nose. It's going to be a range of 9320. Let's verify that by showing the fleet. Uh, let's see, what's the model? Boeing 747, probably cargo plane, 747. 9,320. I don't see any range higher than that. So that is correct. So let's go ahead and load all the cargo jets. So click 5, and then it goes here, loading all cargo jets. And those are based on what I have here. Yes, all the cargo jets, Airbus, Boeing 747, and some Russian plane. Let's see, add a, so let's go to on a dogfight, and I believe that was just all the fighter jets just fighting. So I put Grumman F-417 is fighting with the enemy, so is every other fighter jet here. And then add a jet. Let's put a jet here, press 7. And then I allowed them to pick a type of jet, whether it's going to be a fighter or a cargo or vanilla style jet. Let's put in a fire back, a vanilla jet. And let's put in a Gulfstream awesomeness. I probably have to put that correction there. Gulfstream awesomeness. And then enter the speed. Let's see. He's a Wall Street baller, so we're gonna go faster than the fighter jets. I'm gonna go at 10,000 miles per hour, which is amazing. Enter the range. Let's see. It'll be probably smaller than the average, so it'll probably be, I don't know. What is the average? I just put 700. And then the price will probably be like 100 million. There you go. And so to verify this, let's click on the list of jets. And so it's a vanilla type of jet. And we see here the Gulfstream Awesomeness is included in the vanilla jet imp, whatever imp. So, and then, you know what? I think I did a typo on that. So let's remove that one. So, so I could easily just pick 12 and it will do it. So let's go ahead and let's list the jets. And now we see here that it's gone. You know what? I want to remove another jet. Let's remove the Gulfstreams G550 on number 2. And so let's go ahead and display that to make sure that everything's all good. So Gulfstream on the vanilla jet is gone. And now, I'm tired. I gotta go home. So let's go ahead and quit this program. So it says have a great day, and then it closes the scanner and it closes the let's see here. It closes the scanner and then it closes the whole program. So now let's go ahead and minimize all this and kind of run through the application here. Hopefully it's easy. But pretty much over here, I read the file that is in our projects, which is going to be here at Jets. And then here I created my variables and I created my objects ahead of time. And then the string input is just a scanner that I'll be using to input the file. So over here, I'm gonna mix. So yeah, this is pretty much going through the text and is reading through the text. And now over here, I know that the first element is going to be based on the uh, shoot, the type of plane. So it's going to be either a cargo jet, a fighter jet, or a vanilla jet. And so when it finds that, it creates a new class, cargo plane, new cargo plane, and it puts the certain elements into a certain criteria. Here I parse them, so double parse, double plane, integer parse, and all that stuff to make sure that it's converted to the right type of uh, primitive, and then entered into the right field here. So and then I pretty much also grab the airfield dot gets array list, and which is over here in the airfield. I created an array list here. So array list only takes the objects jets, and I included them in the array list here, right there. And I did that for every single one. So for the fighter jet, for the vanilla jet, for the cargo jet, and I pretty much already created an array list and I placed the objects inside the. Does that make sense? I pretty much created new objects and then I placed the objects into the array list in the airfield. So, and I did that for every single fighter jet that was inside the text file. And so, and then I put an exception, print this in order if anything was to occur or any type of error. And then I pretty much just call the airfield display menu, and then I put in the input scanner, and then the airfield action is where all the actions at of the whole program. So we go here to the airfield, and then we display the menu, which is pretty much what we call list fleet. And then for the public airfield, I have nothing in the constructor. I don't think I needed anything. Here is where I call the certain actions for the whole program, and which I believe is inside the airfield. Just want to verify. Uh, the, so the action, which right here, is actually the input. So the user is going to put in the input here when it puts the scanner, and then based on after seeing the menu, so it puts the input and then it starts running this program. So and then we also have to enter the airfield that we created for the array list, and then it goes input equals, and then it starts doing the display fleet. And so for case number one, display fleet is going to be over here. And so it says all jets on airfield, and I pretty much based it on the cargo jets. I was finding the cargo plane class, so that's where I got the get simple name dot equals ignore case cargo plane, and then I grabbed all the cargo planes and then I had it printed out. Same with the fighter jets, same with the vanilla jets. And then for the case two is going to be looking for fly. So here is the EastJet fly, and I had a crew. Let's see, EastJet.fly. So over here on the fly, I believe on jets, because everyone knows how to fly. Here's what I did. Pretty much got the model, flies at the speed, miles per hour range, get range. It would run out of fuel at, and I'm not sure about this one part yet. So this will be updated so you could do the right calculations, but this is what I called on fly. And then if when we call the display menu, let's see, when we call fly all jets. And then for three, if it's a three, then airfield fastest jet airfield. So uh, let's look at the fastest jet. So here I made no nothing's gonna go -1. So if the string fastest, this is where I get the info once I figure out where how fast it is. So here I do a for loop looking for first I check to see if it's null, the fastest jet info, and I pretty much replace it with the fastest jet, which is the double, and then I get the speed, and then I get the EastJet data to file info. So pretty much grabbing all the information from the jet, and then I can show you here on info. It's pretty much my way of formatting how I wanted to show just pretty much just showing the how I want it for me. So it's pretty much going to be uh, every the model and then new line speed, new line range, and new line the price of the model. So here so here it just runs the first test to see if it's null, and then grabs the information. And if then it runs the next test to see, hey, if the get speed is faster than the fastest speed that we have currently, then let's replace that. And let's replace also the data info to fastest jet info. If not, let's continue. And so you just go ahead and I know the continue is probably not necessary. Um, probably yeah, it's already unnecessary. So let's actually delete that. And yeah, hopefully it still runs, or else I will be not so happy. So then actually let's double check to see if that actually works still. Control F10. Okay. All right. and that was number 2, I believe, or number 3. Let's try number 3. Okay, and number 4. Okay, everything seems to be working fine, so we got rid of that um, for the fastest jet. All right, and then so it's just going to be replacing it and then finding the fastest jet, and then we'll have it displayed. Now, number 4, display menu. It's going to be view jet with the longest range. So let's look at that, the longest range. And again, the longest range is not going to be -1, so I'm going to have it replaced and pretty much follow the same thing with fastest jet, but this time getting the range and getting the longest range. Anything that's, if the range is longer, then let's actually delete this now that we know that it's not necessary. And then, uh, if now, yeah, it's pretty much going to be replacing that every single time, um, if it meets that requirement. And then it'll print that the jet with the longest range is the following, and then that's when it jet with the longest range. So and then and then number load all cargo jets. Sorry about that. Number 5, load all cargo jets. And let me see what for action. Number 5. So pretty much running through the array list again, and then cargo plane. This is where I created a new object for cargo plane loaders. That's the name I called it because they're loading the plane, I guess. And then pretty much went to if each dot get class dot get simple name dot equals ignore case cargo plane. So these are just like I said, like the first time when I had to split them up by cargo and by fighter jets and by vanilla planes. I pretty much just grabbed the cargo plane and had a match. Once that matched, I created a cargo plane object, and I pretty much put the get mode or get model, and then I grabbed the speed and the range and the price for each one and made a new object. And then I pretty much and then I called it. And I did that for every single uh, cargo plane. So I was creating an object, a new object, and then just put them in here, and then I was able to call the load cargo. And then I believe I could just if, and then I should just, I guess it's not necessary, so I'll just break out of that. Um, and actually, let's test it to see if it's if it's not broken. So load cargo should be loading 3 cargos, I believe. So let's load all cargos, 5 or 4 of them, I guess. And then, yep, we're good to go. Airfield. So now let's go ahead and get out of that. So that works. So that's what was my thinking here. Um, and cargo loading. And then same with the fighter jets. The way I was able to do that one was the same thing, pretty much. And then we could actually probably get out of this as well. It's not as necessary, other than that bracket. And then so we're able to call fighter jets based on the class name, and then place it based on each element. So or get model, get speed, get range, and get price. Exact same thing as the jet here. And so when we called it, it's actually an interface that had to create 2 interfaces, one for the fighting jet and one for the cargo jet. And so here we have void, but we could have easily called um, all of those ground attack. And if I would have specified on the fighter jets the ground attack, actually I've actually put them all in there. So let's actually test that real quick and put here fighter jet dot um, air attack, and then fighter jet dot ground attack, and then fighter jet dot launch missiles. And so let's run that one here. It's doing its magic. and then let's pick the dogfight. And so it actually goes through each one. Grunman is fighting with the enemy, performing air attack, performing ground attack, and then launching a missile. And same exact thing based on what I called the interface and put it here. So now these are all being called. Let's see, fighter jet. So now these are all being called. But I don't need to put all that stuff in there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and delete that. I'm gonna go ahead and click 9 to exit. We're just gonna put fight for now. And then 7 is airfield at fleet. So airfield at fleet, let's go ahead and go to the method for that. At fleet. And so here I pretty much just had them choose um, a number, and the scanner went through and tested to see if A, is it 1, 2, or 3? If so, then break. If not, continue and or enter this message. Sorry, you have entered an invalid choice. 1, 3, go ahead and pick continue. So it's going to go back to this while loop. And the jet type is not going to be that. So please enter the model. And I'm just going to go ahead and just put the model. And so it's going to go ahead and enter the model. And then while true, this is also another test that I'm trying to do for the speed. So here I need to make sure that the speed is a double. So it enters the speed, and if it's not, if it doesn't meet that, it doesn't pass that test to speed. If you can't do it, it's going to print out, hey, you have entered an invalid entry, and it's going to make this person do it again. So, and then again, these continues are not necessary. And it's going to go ahead and say, and then I'm also going to do the same exact thing, but making sure that that I could turn it into an integer. And if it doesn't pass, then it's going to say you have entered an invalid entry, and it's going to go ahead and until you have entered in a valid entry to parse it back into an integer, you're not going to go through. And then please enter price, and then again, this is going to test to see if it meets the criteria of being long. And if it doesn't, then I'm sorry, you have entered an invalid entry, and then it's going to have the person enter the price again. Here is going to go ahead and say, okay, if you passed all these tests, these three little tests, then we're going to go ahead and say case one. All right, cool. So let's see if you're case one, that you are now you've chosen a new fighter jet. Let's create a new fighter jet, and then enter the model, speed, range, and price. Because we convert or we parse them back into this variable on each single one of them. I love you, monkey. It's my daughter. Okay. All right. So, and then I'm gonna go ahead and create this, and I'm gonna put it back into. I'm gonna add it into the array list that we have in the airfield. And then it's going to go to the cargo plane. If it was a 2, it'll be a cargo plane. 3, vanilla jet. And then if it's a default, if they entered an invalid number, then we are going to have them say, hey, sorry, you have entered an invalid entry, and it's going to have them show that again. So that is um, the method for to adding a fleet. So now for the action of, let's see, remove a fleet. So remove a fleet was definitely much less writing, I believe. It was remove a fleet. It's gonna be here, and it was gonna be just the integer count. So this is just me making sure that to count and list the numbers correctly when we go through the loop. When we go through this loop, so we go 4 jets. So it's pretty much running a loop, and I'm getting the count, which is gonna be 1 dot, and then it's going to get the model of the jet, and it's going to go through that loop. And then here's going to be another test. Uh, so it's going to say, please choose the jet you would like to remove, and it's going to display all of the jets, and then it's going to ask for the choice. And then here's where if it's going to test to see if it's an integer choice, and then if it's not, then it's going to make you go, hey, go back to the option of choosing the right choice. Please choose the jet which you would like to remove. Is gonna If it passes this test, it's gonna go, okay, now try this. Airfield gets array list to remove the index. So since we chose 1, we have to subtract it by 1 to get the right index to remove. So if it's so we're going to try this, and then if it doesn't work, then you have entered an invalid choice. Please choose the jet you would like to remove. So just in case they chose a number that's not within the parameters of 1 through the length of the list, then um, it's going to be having them repeat it. And then lastly, hallelujah, is going to be number 9, which is have a great day. It's going to close the scanner, and then it's going to exit the system. So it's going to be, and I think that's pretty much the last method. At display fleet, add to fleet, remove fleet, longest range, fastest action display. Oh, okay. And then this is just a two string here. And then this is the array list that we return. So then we could make sure that we could actually add things in there. And then I don't know if I think you could pretty much just see the code for the jets and the cargo planes. Those are pretty easy to see, but I just wanted to show the jet application and the airfield where there's more of the coding of what's going on. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Um, yeah, and hopefully it helps the teachers out. Thank you, teachers, for being so awesome and patient. Um, and hopefully this kind of helps out, kind of figuring out what I was doing.